Hello and welcome to a different kind of live stream today. And yes, today I want to talk about something I brought up in my failed live stream attempt of Wonders of Sodor. How their free roam isn't a true... Hello and welcome to a... Sorry about that, but... I want to talk about how this is my kind of free roam. And this is in the game Train Simulator Classic, or Railworks. And today we're going to be taking my favorite hall, 7928 Wolf Hall. And we're going to go... just up the branch here. We're going to do a pickup goods train where we're going to set out and pick up trucks. Now, I want to wind the reverser forward, letting the brakes come off. Is it... I think it's Control Shift... Is it Shift and R? Control and R? I can't remember how they do the fireman. Oh, it's the light bulb thingy. Oh, Control Shift and F. And then... No! Okay, so we're heading up the branch line. Now, remember how I said that in Wonders of Sodor you have to constantly be setting your path? And you can't just like plunk a train down and plunk down the wagons you want to make a background scene and all that. Here, I set all this up. So here's a fish train, Highland wagon. Up in here, look at all these S&D-JR wagons that need to be moved around. There's steel wagons here and there and everywhere. So if I have a tank engine, I can come in here and start shunting trucks. You know, see, that's what I'm getting at. This is something you can do. And you'll notice something else, too. I set my own path. Which means... that, you know, I can choose where my train goes. I don't have to worry about the signals. The signals will set themselves accordingly. Yes, Railworks is a Dovetail Games product. So I'm sitting here like, why can't we get a free roam like this in Wonders of Sodor, where I could just plunk down James with his 10 trucks and just... trucks! I'm shunting at Tidman. All of a sudden, oh look! Trucks! And also, you may have noticed, like, I filled out the yard as much as I could here. And that's because I wanted to give this some life. A lot of the scenarios that you see in Wonders of Sodor, like in James in the Van, there's no life. There's no trucks scattered about. The big station, when you come into Deptford and go into the yard, I would have loved to have seen a few trucks scattered about. With no trucks scattered about. Sorry about that. My phone reminding me to take on water. But with no trucks scattered about, how am I gonna feel like I'm on a lively railway? It's the same thing with the 6 engines you have. Yes, Thomas, Percy, James, Emily, Gordon, and Diesel are fine, but they're not enough. This is why I think the base game should have come with 10 engines. And if you wanted to make James a DLC, make James a DLC with other mixed traffic engines like Donald, Douglas, Edward, Henry. I would even classify Arthur as a mixed traffic engine. Well, technically Arthur is a mixed traffic engine. He's a 2MT tank. And I would even throw Rebecca and Nia in there. And then the base game, you could have had the Thomas, Percy, Emily, Gordon, Diesel. I would have thrown in Boko, Daisy, Mavis. See, 4 Steam, 4 Diesel. And then you could have thrown in, say, Molly for another female steam engine. And you could have even thrown in the Hymic Bear. Look, that's 10 engines right there. And then you could have done, like I said, James, Donald, Douglas, Edward, Nia, Rebecca. I'd even go as far as to add in Neville, Rosie, Dennis, and maybe even Norman. 10 more engines. That way the pack you're paying, and then the lack of wagons is really telling. A 12-ton van in 5 different liveries. Okay, it's still the same LNER 12-ton box van. 7-plank. Okay, a 7-plank is fine. A 7-plank troublesome truck. Fine. A milk tanker? Fine. A tar tanker? Fine. And a mail van? Fine. And an LMS brake van? Fine. That's 7. But, as I pointed out, and the farms make a glaring lack of this very clear. While we move our choo-choo up the line, let's see if I actually put it on this train. Oh, right here. In fact, right here. Where's our cattle wagon? You have 2 farms on Thomas's branch line. Why do we not have cattle wagons? Why were they not a base game edition? In fact, the base game, I can even tell you how the base game should have come out. Just so people don't moan and whine all the time. This is what, personally, I believe I would have done. Is I would have given us engines 1 to 12. So engines 1 to 12 would be Thomas, Edward, Henry, Gordon, James, Percy, Toby, Duck, Donald, Douglas, Oliver, and Emily. right there. Then I would have given us the red branch line coaches, which they did, good. The red and green express coaches, good. Annie and Clarabelle, good. But then I would have also given us something like the old coaches. The old GER coaches that you see Edward pulling in season 1. Which would be nice. I would love to see those really brought back and respected. But that's just me personally. Then, what I would have done for wagons, I want to keep the same, like, core 6 wagons in the L&S brake pad here, but I'm going to add to it flatbeds. This is too slow. I'm going to change up the engine. See, this is something I would love to be doing. Look, okay, the engine's much too slow for my liking. I'm gonna change it up. So yeah, the engine's just too slow for my liking right now. Then again, I am trying to pull a heavy 30 wagon goods train. And I know Halls can pull 30 wagons. So I'm gonna put the Hall here. I want to see what I have in here that I could use. Oh, my 7F. I can't find it now. I'm sure I ticked 7F. Hold on. Okay, so here we go again. This time, I'm going to show you what I mean by I like this. So right here, this engine, to my knowledge, when I bought it, it did not come with wagons. But look, I have it sitting right here in the yard. In the branch line, I can't really do AI traffic without like completely screwing it up. But look right here. My haul is now pulling a train. Fish wagons all the way to T-Bay. Beesh. But I am gonna glaze real hard for this guy. I love my 7Fs. Wait, break! So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set my paw up. So that should be set. Yeah, that one I can't set yet. Not until after my haul has puffed in. What I can do is kick it forward. J. Kick off the brakes. I think it's Control and R? Yes. So I can focus on the driving. But this is what I mean by this is a good this is true free roam. And look, I can actually move my camera wherever I want. I'm not going to be forced into the cab if I were to go into a tunnel. And while I wait on this, look, I can now see my train, I can now click, do all this cool stuff. And I love 7Fs. You know, and seeing this yellow tanker kind of makes me go, why isn't a fuel tanker included? Things like that. You know, we see all these cool wagons. And I would love to see these brought in, you know. I already see an idea for a pack of wagons that we could do for the Northwestern. That would include, and I'm gonna be the first one to buy them, cattle wagon, an open GWRC wagon, a fish van. I would love to lean more into the real world aspect, like I said. So something like this would be cool to see. Something like this. One of these guys. Something like this, or this, or this. Or that. How about some of these? There's like all sorts of brake vans you can have. And it just, what I see, I feel like I'm lacking. Like I said, because the branch line is single-tracked, there's just no way to put AI traffic coming the other way. I'd have to make like an actual, like, oh, this is, I have to drive and drop off these wagons and pick up these wagons and get AI traffic to come the other way. Whereas with this, it's like, Yeah, I've got a fish train that's running ahead of me, and maybe it's a light day today. You know, but this is true free roam for me. Damn it, because I paused the signal. Hold on, I'm gonna do something. This is the one thing I don't like about this game at times, but I will say it is better than Wonders of Sodor right now. Come on. There we go. We hit the replay key. Now, if you're wondering, yes, Glenic Creations actually made an Island of Sodor route. But, like, right here. Yeah, I got some wagons hiding back in here, but I'm gonna be dumping trucks here. Look back in here. Trucks. And as we go hurrying down the line here to get back to our choo-choo, right there, trucks. And I placed those trucks there because I wanted them there. It's kind of a case of, in Wonders of Sodor, once you plunk a train down, that's it. You can't move it. You have to basically create, like, shunting paths to, you know, put the trucks where you bloody well want them. So as you can see, I'm going through here and I'm showing you all the trucks that I put down just so, look at that. I could put trucks in here to be like, oh, they came from the quarry, but I didn't want to because pain in the ass. Right here are some wagons I get to pick up. And more wagons I get to shovel around to grab the wagons I really need from this sighting. Namely, I think it's these two, and then that little cut of ore wagons, plus those guys up there. You see, but that's the thing, like, you don't need to set a path to drive your train in this game. Imagine how tedious this would be if I had to when I clicked on my 7F, I had to, set a path, then set instructions to dump these wagons here, then pick up these wagons and move these wagons over here, blah, 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 blah. Just imagine how tedious, how boring, how, frustrating it would be. Like, the auto fireman enabled, just so I can start moving train around. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wait. Huh. I need to look up Mary Benton Junction. Be back. Okay, so this is a little quarry branch. So while I do that, see, like, okay, I'm tied to the camera. Now, the camera's tied to my train, but look, right there, I can still see 7928 Wolf Hall booking it with a fish train. I want to wait. I want to get her at least 3 stations ahead of me. So once she's past, I think this is Pierce Bridge. So once she's past Pierce Bridge, because here's Forsyth Junction. This goes to a little quarry line. Basically, once she's past, I think, up here, Gainford. Basically, as soon as she's past a lot of this area, then I can really start to cook it and book it. Right here is where we're going to terminate, at Felden Bridge. Or at Fielden Bridge. But I could continue on. I could go up here, go over to Spennymoor. I could go up here to Durham. I could go up to Crook. I could come all the way over here to Weirhead. But I'm gonna go this way. We're gonna come back up here. We're gonna come in here. And we're gonna pick up a bunch of wagons down in here. And we're just gonna bring wagons back here and just fill out the sidings. Before I put my engine away here. And there's the tail end of my fish train. But you see, you know, that's something I'd love to see, is a little more life. You know, imagine being able to shove one of those. What are those? What are those? What are those? What are those? And, like, what are those around? Add in a couple of those, like some of that, blah, 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 blah. You know, Thomas has... Okay, so the Farquhar branch, or the Farquhar branch, has ales. Why didn't we have ale wagons? Like, come on, people. You're missing a lot of really good traffic. You know, cattle wagon, ale wagon, a fuel tank wagon, an oil tank wagon, fish van of some kind. I think that would have lifted this experience. In fact, here's the perfect idea of a wagon pack. I believe would work for Wonders of Sodor. You got an oil and a fuel tanker. You've got a cattle wagon and ale van. A covered hopper for grain to go to the malt or to wherever. So, I didn't put any down, damn it. But we'll do like this. So you got a fuel wagon and an oil wagon. You got one of those, a low riot, or some form of a well wagon. This, I believe, carried ale. You've got these kinds of flatbeds. You've got a square-bodied tar wagon and a regular round-bodied tar wagon. A container flat, a cattle wagon, a fish wagon. Kick that off. You could also have, let's see if I put any, oh, right here. You've got a bogey bolster flatbed like this for, say, logs or other bulky, heavy freight traffic. And then you get to, like, this, like one of these LSWR road brake vans. You get a GWR toad of some kind. And yes, they were short little six-wheeled toads. Imagine having one of those, imagine having that. The other brake van I showed you. There's some other brake vans hiding around the route that I would love to, like, imagine the Highland brake van that we saw on the fish train. In there too. That what you now have Ooh, she's clearing Pierce Bridge. That's good. Pardon me. But like all those different types of brake vans and different types of wagons, it would be really, really freaking awesome. And just doing something like this, where I could just plunk down the wagons separate in various yards and tracks and sidings, I would love to do something like that. I think it adds a lot more charm to the game. Being able to run a free roam like this would be nice. And I can already tell you what wagons I need to drop off. And they're all mixed into the train. But actually, see, but look at that. We're just thumping along with the trucks we need. Compare this to Wonders of Sodor, where I have to do, like, I have to set a path every time I want to shunt some trucks. You know, and it'd be nice if I didn't have to, like, worry too much. But, you know, it is what it is. To shut off. I have no steam. This thing is much better for the S&D, not the flats. And in actuality, I think I see the wagons I need to ditch anyway. They're the rear 6, 7, 8, 9, The last 10 wagons of my goods train have to be ditched. And then I'm gonna pick up the rest of my goods train. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull in. I'm just gonna ditch the last 10 wagons. Just fetch 3 more. Come on, you can raise steam, baby. You can raise steam. Oh, she's raising steam. She's raising steam. Yay. That's another thing I'd like to be able to do is, I'm incrementally opening and closing the regulator to prevent wheel slippage. Oh, wait, why is my reverser so high? Oh, I didn't lock it. That's why it burnt through all my steam. Just failed me. Come on, come on. Let's get this train moving. I'm gonna see how long I've been streaming for. I may do 1 or 2 pickups and then call it quits. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna call it quits right now. But hopefully, maybe sometime when I'm not, like, born bored, I'll try to, you know, maybe do a longer stream. So, see you when that happens. Have a good one. Bye.